My name is Robert Phelps. I graduated from Coronado High School in 2009. Right after graduation, I went to Miramar College to pursue an associate's degree in fire science. Currently, I am a firefighter paramedic for the City of Coronado Fire Department.
My parents decided that moving to Coronado was a great opportunity for my brother and I, especially because we didn't speak English. The elementary school has a very good program in which they incorporate kids slowly into the classroom or faster depending on their needs. That was my mom's biggest drive to getting us to Coronado.
I came here in 5th grade and I stayed all the way through high school, and I was a Coronado resident. I graduated in 2018, and since then I went to Howard University, and now I am serving as a lab technician on transit to medical school.
I wasn't born here in Coronado, but I did move here when I was 2 or 3, so for all intents and purposes grew up here in Coronado. I entered CUSD kindergarten. After graduating high school, I went to MIT. There I ended up studying electrical engineering and computer science, or as they would say, Core 6. I ended up going to Silicon Valley and working at a few startups before eventually finding my way to Facebook, now Meta, where I've actually been for almost 7 years.
I moved to Coronado in 2010 and graduated 2019 from Coronado High School. I went to Bucknell University in Pennsylvania. I'm still there. I'm going to be a senior this upcoming school year. I'm an economics major.
I came to Coronado High School as an interdistrict transfer. My freshman year, joined the musical theater program with the Coronado School of the Arts. Graduated class of 2012. Ended up graduating from San Diego State. 1 week later, getting a job working for Congresswoman Susan Davis in her DC office. When she decided that she was not going to seek another term after 20 years in Congress, I was fortunate enough to find an opportunity working for Governor Gavin Newsom as his San Diego Regional Coordinator of External Affairs.
I felt most connected to Coronado through water polo. I played in elementary school, middle school, and high school. 9 years of my life was always at the BB Mac pool. So I got to, interact with a lot of Coronado kids every single day, and I definitely felt very connected to the school district through that.
I was an athlete in high school. I was fortunate enough to play varsity lacrosse all 4 years, played a little bit of basketball, and so I couldn't do COSA arts, but the art classes offered by Ms. Hill are just as phenomenal. Architecture school is very difficult, but the one thing that's definitely keeping me going is my experience in the arts.
First and foremost, basketball. I was always in the basketball team. Second of all, I was big in COSA. So in high school, I played drums, mainly in the jazz band, and I also served playing percussion. It was definitely a memorable experience in high school.
I would really say what kept me most connected to the school community was probably COSA, Coronado School of the Arts, the musical theater program. The friends and relationships that I made in that program really made coming to school each day something that I wanted to do. I don't think I ever woke up in the morning saying, I gotta go to school. And that's a pretty incredible feeling.
I took, 2 years of wood shop, or maybe 3 years of wood shop, and it was great and all. And then my senior year, I finally took ceramics with Mr. Rempe, and I thought, it's ceramics, how cool can it be? And it was probably the best class I've ever taken in my entire life, just because it was such a cool, unique class to take. And Mr. Rempe was such an incredible teacher. And every day you'd get to bring something home, whether it was a coffee mug or a vase or something. You'd be like, hey, look what I actually did today. Look what I made all by myself. So I think that's really, really great.
Coach Cade, who was our coach at the time, and I think still is, very high standards, very high set of expectations, and they weren't unreasonable, but they were definitely, I think, some of the highest expectations anybody on the team probably was exposed to. In Mrs. Davis's case, she was the one who showed me, that there was a lot more to math than just the formulas and the numbers, and instead that it could actually be exciting. And that was something that resonated really well with me, and honestly, it's probably how I got through some of the harder parts of MIT. And then the other one was definitely Captain Panes, who I think one of his biggest influences in my case was very easily or very quickly understanding the faults or some of my weakest points, as well as some of my strongest points, helping me just become a little bit more well-rounded in that regard.
Jenny Moore, who is, I believe, our assistant principal at the high school when I was here. But she was always out in the quad, talking, encouraging us, things like that. I felt like I had a really good relationship with her. But my all-time favorite teacher I probably ever had was Michael Clardy, Mr. Clardy. And he always just seemed like he and I kind of came from the same background. We had the same, interests in surfing, things like that. When I think back on what made high school fun, I don't think there's anything better than a history class in Mr. Tanaka's classroom that was just fascinating, humorous, educational, just the whole package.
Miss Keller, fourth grade teacher, she kind of just patiently sat with me when she could. We had a lot of reading time in the reading corner. That was a very big influence and something that actually impacted me for the rest of my life. I love reading to this day, and I thank her for that. From an intellectual and academic standpoint, I would say Mr. LeMay had a very large impact in my life, and I would say all of my classmates' lives. And then from a more fun and eye-opening worldview, I would say Mr. Aldworth. Every day he brought his A game.
Kim Strasburger, thank you, Kim. To this day, there are certain theater exercises that I do, or certain ways of practicing and rehearsing information that I need to know that I learned from your classes and helped me in everyday instances still to this day. So even though I didn't go down that theater pathway, still very grateful for the education that you gave.
So I actually had two adult champions, and both of them were my high school English teachers, Mr. Huang and Mr. Chow. So Mr. Chow was great, not only for me, but for all students in general. He made everybody feel welcome and created an atmosphere where, while he was academically rigorous, he definitely made sure to make everybody feel supported in their actual life outside of school. What are they doing outside of school? How are they handling business outside of school, rather than just academia. Mr. Huang was more the same, except he definitely took more of a stand when teaching about racial issues, and he took extra time in his class especially to teach music and teach issues and movements and a lot of things that were actually serious subjects. And he actually inspired me to pursue my path of psychology.
I think one thing that should never change is the small town Islander feel, the open quad, getting out, knowing your administrative personnel, knowing your teachers, knowing that Forrest is out there, he's got the best interest, he's looking out for your best interest, he's gonna keep you in line, things like that. When everybody's not compartmentalized into classrooms all day, people are interacting in a big group, pep rallies, things like that. That's all super important. And looking back, and those are the things that you miss the most from your childhood is man, I wish I could go back and just be in that big group of everybody having a great time.
The friends that I have to this day, most of them were made between, I think, kindergarten to third or fourth grade. These are the people who I was in class with in elementary school, that I started doing sports with in middle school. We were going to championship games in high school, but then also just every day at school, going to classes together, learning together, and in general, just having fun together.
Coronado students are very prideful of their school. As cheesy as it might sound, it's like one big family.
CHS especially did a good job with, keeping everybody, encouraging everyone to do something, play a sport, or join a club. I mean, even COSA, that's a great thing that people did. It was school involved, but it was outside of your normal classes, so never stop that encouragement.
If you walk across this campus, one of the most beautiful campuses in the world, probably would still be beautiful, but there's something just exceptional about the mosaics, about the murals, about people rehearsing and singing and dancing all around. I don't think you get that anywhere else, and I think that's something that really makes this place beautiful.
Playing music definitely kept me to grounds here. It was definitely an outlet. And then like talking with musical theater kids or like film kids or art kids, it was like all of them. It was just fun. We got to have a lot of fun and we got to do what we loved.